everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here today. For those of you who may have not attended the press conference, this is a panel discussion by the Coney Island Coalition Against Violence, and our topic is violence in our community and what we can do about it. And before we start, just a little background. The Coney Island Coalition Against Violence has been in existence for a little over a year, and it's basically a group of concerned residents, business owners, and community organizations that have come together as a coalition to do something about the violence. It's that simple. So anybody here in this room can play a part in challenging the violence that's in our community. So thanks so much for being here. I want to acknowledge a few people before we start. Once again, thank you again to Senator Diane Savino for being here and supporting this effort and for helping us to develop the posters. A round of applause for Senator Savino. Thank you. I also want to acknowledge Detective Martin Brown from the NYPD Police Commissioner's Office. Detective Brown. And officers from the PSA Housing Authority. Could you just, there you are. Thanks so much. And I also want to acknowledge a couple of residents of the community who have been challenged with violence in their own families as a result of incidents in the community. And that would be Mr. Agaski. And we're very happy also to have Minnie Porter here today, who just happened to see the press conference, and now she's a part of the coalition. Thanks for coming, Ms. Porter. So the way this is going to work, it's very simple. I'm going to introduce our wonderful panelists here. First of all, we have our students from the Liberation High School. And your name? Latifa. Ashley. And Ashley. Also, I just wanted to acknowledge some of the coalition members who are here, and I'm just going to ask you to shout out if you're a member of the coalition. So why don't you start there, Georgia? Shout out! Stella Development Corporation is one of the. I'm not going to remember everybody, so that's why I'm asking you all.
Development Corporation is proud to be a part of this event.
Proud to be part of the endeavor as well.
Any other coalition members?
Neighborhood services.
Neighborhood services.
You ever see the Guardian Angels in Coney Island?
Wake Up Organization supporting the Super Foundation.
Anyone else?
Council Community.
Council Community. And this is not fair, but I have a microphone and I'm from the New York Aquarium. Anybody else?
Josh Goldstein, Brooklyn Public Library.
Great. So as you can see, it's a very diverse group. We have many different functions in what our organizations do, and our main goal is to stop the violence. We're all here together to do that. Simple. So once again, thank you for being here. So our panelists, Mr. Jose Gonzalez, who's with the Guardian Angels. Brother Ron Stewart, founder of Men United for Change. Hope Campbell, who's part of the Anti-Violence Project. And Keith Suber, who founded the Suber Foundation. How we're going to do this is each of our panelists is going to speak on a specific issue, then we're going to address 4 important questions and open the questioning up to the audience as well. So Brother Ron will speak about root causes of violence. He will be first. Keith will speak about guns, drugs, and gangs. Hope will speak about mental health, and Jose will speak about community involvement. So Brother Ron, why don't you start?
If you don't mind, I'd like to stand up. I'm still trying to thaw out. My toes are about to fall off, so I know some of y'all can relate to that right now. But first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for staying and being here this afternoon. I mean, we were really cold out there, but you came over here, so that shows that you are concerned and you're looking for some solutions to a problem that is consistent, not only in our community, but all over this country. You know, we talk about violence, but violence does not happen in of itself. And I really want you to listen to us, because as we are sitting, as you heard me say earlier, right now, as we are sitting right here, violence is happening. It's happening in Afghanistan. There are U.S. soldiers, for whatever reason that while they're there, they're shooting down men, women, and children. It's happening in Iraq. Thousands of young Americans died in Iraq. I grew up in the 60s. One of the first forms of violence that I saw, not in the streets, even though, you know, we used to have fights right here. We used to go on the beach and fight. But I was sitting down watching a television program, and at the end of the program, I saw the names of the soldiers that died in Vietnam. I saw Tony King. He was one of the first young men that I saw whose name was posted on the credits of men that died in Vietnam. He was a young guy that I went to Mark Twain with, and that had a devastating effect on me, because here was a young man, a friend of mine, who went to Vietnam to protect, so-called to protect the American democracy. He died there. So as we are sitting here right now in the Congo, in Africa, in Somalia, I don't know if you know what a drone is, but it's a computerized system where it can kill hundreds of people at a very given time. That is happening right now. In someone's apartment in Cary Gardens, in O'Dwyer Gardens, in C.I.C.A.V, someone is committing an act of violence right now as we're sitting here. But we want to find out, what is the cause of violence? A lot of times we say that they're gang violence. I had an opportunity to meet some of the original Crips and Bloods, because we always talk about them. But the original, I met T. Rogers, I met Big Phil, I met General Lee. I went to Compton and met these brothers. They, as Keith has done, they reformed their lives. They are no longer gang members. They have called a ceasefire. But they didn't start out like that. They started out trying to protect their community in Compton, in various parts of California. But when crack cocaine came in, then things got violent. But what is the root causes of violence? It's just not gang members. When I was the director of Cary Gardens Community Center, I had some of the young boys there. And there was times when they would fight each other. And I would ask little Kareem or little Stanley, I said, well, why are you hitting him? And he said, Mr. Stewart, they stepped on my feet. And I would ask Kareem, did you say, excuse me? So I found out the reason why they committed that type of act, because this is what they saw in their homes. This is the way that they solved their problem. If someone did something to them, the first thing that they would do